Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is 1804 history. yeah, I'm so sorry. I was late or whatever. A lot of things got behind schedule, but I'm back. I'm here. But yeah, happy Black History Month, everybody. The first day, and this is very important, that we keep these stories and we tell our truths and we tell these stories not only for the children but for those who paved the way. And this is a story of someone who was innocent and someone who took the fall for her daughter. And quite frankly, she didn't do it. So Miss Helen Ray Fowler was the first Black woman to be executed in the state of New York in 1943. And pretty much all she did was remove the body and got sentenced to death, and all in the same year, in a matter of a few months. And I want everybody to do their research. I'm going to pretty much be brief. I'm going to be quick. I ain't going to give y'all the whole story because I want y'all to do y'all research as well. So basically, what happened was she came home and found a dead body of this white guy who worked at the local gas station. And I guess the guy who followed her home from a bar because she was dating somebody. And I guess he tried to rape her. And that's one of the things that they don't talk about in the civil rights era, was these white guys who just randomly go into Black women homes, knowing that they don't got no man, knowing that they single. They would just go into these homes and just, try to sexual assault them. So luckily, one of the tenants that was at her boarding house hit this man over the head with a vase, fractured his skull, and he died, bled out. So she panicked and she was just like, oh, I gotta get this body out of here. So her and this tenant took the body to the Niagara Falls, because it was in Niagara County, and dumped the body. So the local police department did an investigation, and she was apprehended. Him and her was apprehended, and they confessed to the crime, and they was arrested for the crime, first degree murder. They were charged. So she was like, well, I didn't do it. I just helped dispose of the body. But that still was a felony in the state of New York at the time. And this was the only case that women was considered jurors as well. So 6 white men and 6 white women found her and her tenant guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to death. So, do I agree with the death penalty? No, I don't agree to that. What I do agree is having somebody serve their life sentence so they can think all day and for the rest of their life about what they done. I don't agree with the death penalty. Never have, never will. Because so many innocent people got sentenced to death. So many people got lynched for no reason. And basically, she knew who did it, but she was protecting her daughter. Her rebellious, narcissistic daughter, toxic daughter, who was happy that she was locked up. She was behind bars for something that she didn't even do. All because she felt like she can get her way, she can get her freedom, and she laughed. And that's what it says in the story. Her daughter could have been a suspect. Her daughter could have been the one that killed the man, but she took the fall. And she had 5 children. She was only 37 years old. And pretty much all she wanted to do was raise her kids. So she pretty much begged for her life. She wrote a letter to the governor and pretty much told the governor that my daughter is trying to sleep with my husband or have been sleeping with my husband. And I got 5 other kids at home. Can you spare my life? Can you make sure that my kids don't go without a mother? And then it didn't work. So her friend / tenant went back to the county jail. Then they got transported from the county jail to Sing Sing prison, waiting execution on death row. And it was many attempts, but it got delayed a couple times because the main executioner died. So they was looking for his replacement. So basically, she was just lucked out. And then the day of, her daughter made this comment like, I hope her body crackled before she dies or some. So she was just crying, she was just pleading, begging for the governor to give her clemency. At least, reduce her death sentence to life in prison. But he didn't answer the phone. He didn't respond to her. So on that night of November of 1943, she died. And she was pronounced dead at 11:37 p.m. And basically how I feel about the story, it just shows how evil people be. And you have a lady that made sure that Emmett Till was murdered, and she got off. The killers got off. Everybody who character assassinated that child got off. And it just happens every day. And I'm sick of people, trying to make it seem like we have a chip on our shoulders because we're black and because we like to complain, we like to play victim. No, it's so many unfairness that happen to us. It's so much injustices that happen. And when do we get an apology? When do we get compensated for the injustices that happen to us? Everybody always talk about Black Lives Matter and this and that, but it didn't matter. It never mattered. And just reading these stories, man, just be pissing me off. Because I really want to do something. I really want to help. I really want for everybody to understand. Like, every time you disrespect our ancestors, like, our ancestors been through so much. And it just seems like nobody cares. But I care. And that lady was only 37 years old. And just the fact that she had one kid who was rebellious and probably did it probably set her up. And you have a lot of people who was involved, from the police department, from the DA, from the judge, from the jurors. They know this woman ain't doing anything. But it's just the fact that she was a black woman, that she had to be made an example of. Imagine if this was your mother. Imagine if this was your child. And sometimes you gotta just cut people off, man. Because it be your own people, it be your own kids sometimes. Like, and she did all she could to protect her daughter. Because her daughter would have got it worse. But because she was almost like middle age, she was spared like the horrible situation, because they could have killed her right on the spot. And people be really underestimating the racism that we had up north. Like, back in them days, the racism up here was way worse than the racism down south, because at least down south, it was common. But up north, it was really sneaky. The racism was like, really like, far-fetched, you know what I'm saying? But the racism down south was just documented. It was known that you didn't come down there thinking that everything was fair, everything was going to be righteous and everything like that. But we just need to understand that how far we came as a people, and just make sure that we pay homage to these people that had to suffer in order for us to have a future. One thing about me is that I'm grateful for the era that I was in, but I'm also not grateful for the things that's still happening, and nothing's changing. A lot of people just still think we're free. A lot of people still think that it's justice for all of us, but it's not. It's not going to be justice until everybody be held accountable for what they do and what they say. Because a lot of people just don't be understanding or knowing just the seriousness of these things, man. And we have to get into a common ground. Like, we don't have to love each other, but we have to respect each other. We have to understand, like, which and whose side is we on. But rest in peace to Miss Helen Ray Fowler, who didn't deserve that. She was just doing what she could to protect her daughter. And that's a mother's love, man. A mother's love can't be bought from no store. And I will always admire her for that. I admire her for that. But yeah, that is it. And I'm probably going to do some more history segments this week. Probably do one more this week. I don't want to give y'all a whole bunch in 1 week. I want to spread this out, because I got 29 days for this. So I want to spread this out. So yeah, we gonna have fun this month and talk about unsung heroes and everything. And just make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and make sure that y'all keep supporting me like I support you. Cashapp, $, the 1804 show. Show me some love. Small, medium, large donation if you can. And I'm out. Peace.